And believe it or not, it's already Tuesday. Boy, did yesterday fly by. Welcome. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. As we begin another adventure today. What will unfold, who knows? But we'll be here behind the scenes throughout the day to give it to you as it happens, as quickly as we can and as accurately as we can. Cold this morning. Did I mention it's 35? But it's cold at your house, too. Odie just told me it was rather nippy outside. Is that the word you used?
That's it.
A little nip in the air. 35 as we wait for a high of 66 later today. Could be cooler at your house. Usually the further north we go, the cooler it is. We'll take a look at all of that in a few moments as we go to radar to see what all is happening. We do have some fog that I'm picking up on radar. Let me show you this. Could be some small areas here, I-20 corridor. We're showing heavy fog in the Mississippi Delta there in the Greenville area this morning. Anywhere in this area, Cleveland, Mississippi, Rosedale, Hollandale, Lake Village, and Indianola. Heavy, heavy fog there. Doesn't mean that we don't have a little bit in these areas as well, so be extremely careful there. We're showing, let's see here, what we got on some of these temperatures as we go here. Macon, Mississippi, wind 0. That's pretty good there. We're missing some temperatures there for whatever reason. 35 in Meridian as we look here. Let's see what we got. 36 in Philadelphia. Starkville, I'm not getting a temperature out of this morning, in the West Point area. For some reason, not showing up in those areas. But chilly, just the same in those areas. So we'll watch it and let you know what becomes of that. Good morning to you. 33 in Conahattermark says. Burr. Louisville, good morning to Corey. Hope everything went well. The big Christmas parade there last night, as well as we had one down in Quitman as well. Hope everybody enjoyed it. More of those are on the way this weekend. We'll be right back. Let's head out and get a good word as we go to Collinsville.
Over Thanksgiving break, our family traveled to visit family in Orlando, and that's quite the haul. While we were down there, really, to me, the coolest thing that we did was we went to visit the Kennedy Space Center. It was incredible to hear the different stories and the history of how modern space travel came to be. And truthfully, it's still hard for me to wrap my head around it all. We go to see real actual space shuttles that had traveled far beyond what we see and know here on Earth. Seeing a Saturn V rocket and just how massive it was incredible. When you think of all the time, effort, energy, and commitment it took to make such leaps in science, you can't help but sit back and be amazed. Yet, consider this. That is but a grain of sand compared to the universe that God can do. In fact, the greatest feat of all is found in His Son, Jesus, who came, who died, and rose again. Ephesians 1:20-23 tells us that Jesus is far above every ruler and power of this age. Though mankind tries to accomplish much, it is nothing but a speck compared to the power of God that He holds in His hand. Take a deep breath with me now. All right, I'm serious. See, that didn't happen unless God allowed it. Everything we see in the world, even man's greatest accomplishments, it doesn't happen without God saying, okay, yeah. Therefore, we have but one response. Bow down and worship this God who rules over all creation. While taking all that in, ask yourself, what will I do in response? Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, Mounty Cabinetry, and Parker Marketing Insurance Advisors. And good morning and welcome back. I hope you got a message out of that. It's always good to have a good word to start this. What was it? I always used to love to listen to Don Williams first thing. Lord, I hope this day is good. I'm feeling empty. Wait, wasn't that a good song? I think so myself there. Showing 34 as we go down south as we get into Jasper County. Several temperatures popping in those areas this morning. We start this off as sad. And I go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is where I'm going with this story. Too many times we see people who are security guards that are put in places, well, they're not prepared. They have no way to protect themselves. And let me tell you the story of this. Do you remember, we'll get to this part later, but at a Macy's, there's security guards. A guy comes in, attempts to steal some hats. Well, they stop him. He drops the hat and he runs off. 10 to 15 minutes later, the person who was attempting to make the theft returned to the store, attacked one security guard with a knife, stabbed him in the neck. The second security guard jumped in to help him. He was also stabbed in the forearm and the face. The first security guard would die, 34 years old. They have no way to protect themselves against thieves. Where was it? Was it Los Angeles or was it Philadelphia that had wanted to start a program to where they didn't send out police anymore? They would send out civilians that were unarmed to defuse situations. Bad guys only understand one thing, an equalizer, something that will stop them. If they feel they have the upper hand on you, they continue to get worse. We have one person that has lost their life and the other one that is, well, in the hospital. Isn't that bad? Upsets me to no end. We've got to do better, America, without a doubt. Did anybody watch, if you remember, Supernatural? My wife loved it, and I got kind of hooked on it there. The Winchesters. Do you remember one of the bad guys that was in the show? Let me show you a picture of it. The Supernatural star here. This guy here. He played Crowley. He was the bad guy on there. He is recovering now, and he gives thanks to emergency responders. He said he was in his kitchen at home, and he fell to the floor. Had 6 massive heart attacks. Was rushed to the hospital, and he lived to tell the story. He's a great actor. He played that part of the bad guy very, very good. But he's back on his feet, recovering from a heart attack. And he went on to say, watch those symptoms. If something feels weird, contact somebody, which he did not. I did not. It can take a life in a heartbeat. He was spared for a reason. A guy from Florida, Rhode Island. We don't hear much about Rhode Island. I go to NBC News. The next is a guy rode through a neighborhood and shot in the air at a house. Police chase went on, and this is what they would find in his car. Now, I'm thinking that's pretty serious. He was mad at somebody. Why? We don't know what the whole thing was. But he was armed for some reason. Maybe one day we'll get the rest of the story of that one, so to speak. Do you remember the funeral home? I believe this was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 190 bodies were found decaying. People had hired them to take care of their loved ones. They found them decaying. You remember that? They're appearing in court this week. We'll see what becomes of that. That's just like, it's like breaking into a church. That's, or busting windows like we had this week. That's just a no-no on the list of you shouldn't do. I don't understand some crimes and why people do these things. Democrat Senator Bob Menendez. Anybody know him? They've raided his home. Why would they do such a thing? Well, they got tips that he'd been getting. What is the word I'm looking for, Odie, here when you get payoffs? After raiding the home, they found 4 gold bars that was traced to someone that was accused of paying him off. It matches the serial numbers. He had them stolen from his house. Police returned them. They're documented. They know exactly where they come from. He's accused of also getting a Mercedes to do a favor and other things. It's always amazing how Congress, what do they make, $170,000, $180,000, maybe $200,000 at most a year, end up being millionaires after they retire. Isn't that shocking?
First term.
Odie says first term. We all know that. It's almost as if America has a blind eye. The Statue of Liberty has something wrapped around her eyes. She just can't see it. I didn't call any names, did I? No. But I think we've seen portfolios before, people that have served in Congress, and that's their only way of making money, and all of a sudden they're millionaires at the end of that. Just amazing. Huh. What is becoming the new number 1 destination? Florida is starting to outpace Vegas when it comes to casinos. People are going there to gamble. It's becoming the number 1 gambling destination. Could it take that away from Las Vegas? Maybe. Vegas has just always been known as the place. We'll see what becomes of that. we've all seen these commercials for the honeymoons, that is, sandals, to where it's the bluest clear water that you've ever seen. Come on your honeymoon here. It's all inclusive. You don't need to tip anybody. Everything is a part of it. 44-year-old woman did just that. One day after her wedding, she was mauled to death by a shark there. Whew. I don't have the story in front of me, but also I saw where a mother this week gave her life for her child. Shark was attacking the child. She swam in. She passed away from her injuries, and the child made it unharmed. That, my friend, is the love of a mother. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Glenn Campbell wrote that many years ago. But boy, there's so much truth to that, and a mom would. I'm not saying a dad wouldn't, but there's a special bond between a child and a mother, and we know that. It's part of them. We know that. As we talk about thieves and what they do, I'd never thought of anyone stealing this. But as you look at it, I see how expensive they are. Live Christmas trees. They cost about, on average, anywhere from $150 to $250. This particular tree costs, I think, $250. California is where we go to, where the thief just took the Christmas tree right off the roof after they had it tied down and bought. They'd gone in another store to buy it. He just walks up, clips it, and loads it into his own vehicle and drives off. How do you... I try to think, you're sitting around the Christmas tree with your family and you look up, how can you celebrate Christ's birthday around a stolen Christmas tree? How do you do that, Odie?
That's the tree that's going to burn down.
Odie says that's the tree that's going to burn. That just doesn't make sense to me. That's my 2 cents on that. You may disagree with me. I guess there's organized crime, and a crime is a crime, and it doesn't hurt to them. As we go to Illinois, we have two positions. It was a ladies' tournament, bicycling. Top 2 spots went to 2 people that used to be men. Our sports in America is being destroyed. Everything that women's rights that stood in line many, many years ago to vote, to have these women's rights, are being destroyed in front of us. But yet I don't hear any cries. I hear no one beating the drum of going, this is not right. It's almost as if America is standing on the sidelines and letting this country come apart. Now, I'm not the only one who thinks this. I see the comments. I hear your thoughts every day. Am I wrong? If so, please tell me. I see it. I see this. We're going to stand by, and America will no longer be the great nation that it once was, because we're afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, and so you can't do that. An Arkansas football coach has been arrested, along with his wife. He was trying to hook her up with a underage female cop who posed as a girl. Said his wife loved this stuff. They've both been arrested. They'll have their day in court. Watch your children. Although this was police that set this sting operation up, we know that there's people out there that prey upon the young. It goes back to what I just said a moment ago. Do you remember the couple, T.J. Holmes and the Amy Robach that were newscasters and were fired? They're saying that after a year it was hard, and they never had whoopee before that. Not going to touch that story. Just telling you what they said. Now, there are people every day that live in fear. There's some that just take preparations that are, I guess, it's kind of like maintenance, I guess, on your vehicle, to where you hear a noise, you go fix it. Younger Americans are fearing that the 24 election could spark an outrage in America, possibly even into a disaster like war. Gen Z is stockpiling because they think something bad is coming. I don't think the election's going to cause that. I think it will be more about crime, and to where it gets to a point to where people just show up at your house and take what they want, because America's not standing up. But they're being prepared for it. Are you? There's so many people that don't know how to even grow food anymore. They think that it just comes from a store. That's the only place to get it. As we know how the pandemic hit and you couldn't get a tractor part, you couldn't get a lawnmower part, food will be affected by this also. The American farmer is vanishing. Why? There's pine trees planted in his pasture where he used to grow things. They're paying the American farmer not to grow. It won't be long before we're no longer the world leader when it comes to milk and honey. And one day we'll wake up and we won't even know how to grow butter beans. My 2 cents on that as well. We need to do something as we watch these stories each and every day. I'm going to wade off into this just a tad here as we look at what's happening this morning. The October 7th murders that took place in Israel. We all know that happened. We've seen the videos. Hamas is warning that a war of liberation will be bigger than that massacre, and it's coming soon. That is what's being said. I'm assuming they mean in Israel or somewhere. May not be. We don't know. That's just the beginning of what we're hearing. The White House says that Hamas also today is refusing to release the women hostages and urges Israel to protect civilians in Gaza after the ceasefire is over. And people like that, they do. They prey upon women and people's heartstrings. They do horrible things to them. Yet we have Americans that walk down the street and think that they're wonderful and they're great, and they support this type thing. A Maryland teachers union rep has been suspended for anti-Semitic posts, including calling the wealthy Jewish thieves. Yet someone else that possibly doesn't know history. That's a few of the headlines this morning. We've got a whole lot more coming up at 7 o'clock. I hope you'll join us for that. We're going to do your weather next. I'll let you know what's happening this morning. We'll be right back. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn, located at 910 Posey Avenue, has tons of lawnmowers to choose from. A big selection of zero-turn lawnmowers, power washers, and even barbecue grills. Step inside the store and see their complete line of Liberty safes along with those Browning safes. A large selection of Louis Vuitton purses along with satin shirts and bead sets. And tons to choose from for the outdoorsman in your household. And always a great deal on any type of jewelry you're looking for. And a private lobby for pawns for your confidentiality. Philadelphia Gun and Pawn.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and there's something magical about the holiday season and Al's Garden and Gift. Maybe it's the gorgeous lawns filled with vibrant winter flowers, or maybe it's the beautiful winter wonderland Christmas shop. Unique themed trees, decorations, ornaments, nativity sets, snow globes, and more. There's even custom wreaths, gourmet foods, gift baskets, and gifts galore. Once you see it, you'll believe. Al's Garden and Gift, the most magical shop around.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs and our record lows as we go back to 05, it was 79, 22, and 06. As we look at our outlook for today, let's move that forward so we can see the 65 is what's forecasted for today as we go northward toward Columbus, about 62. But look at this, all across the state, it seems to be sunshine. Isn't that great? It is. 65 in Hattiesburg as well. As we go east into Bama, we see that Birmingham is showing up at 60 today. Troy will see about 62, and Demopolis around 64, very close to what we'll see in the Meridian area, East Mississippi. Now, be forewarned, this is early. This is showing what is coming this weekend. This could be some very serious weather, as we already show that we're at a level 2 at the Mississippi River. We've got a level 1 moving just east of Vicksburg. We're several days away from this happening Saturday night into Sunday. Be prepared. This could be bad weather on the forecast on the horizon. We're going to watch this very carefully. We'll be here through you no matter when it comes. Saturday evening into Sunday is what we're looking at. So be forewarned and watch the weather. Follow us. Share it with a friend if they don't know about how to get the weather. As we look at this cooler weather across Mississippi, pretty much across the Meridian area, Kemper County, due south toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast, taking in Alabama and Mobile as well. As we see our 7-day forecast today, 64 is what our radar system tells us, 36 for a low tonight. We'll be cooler tomorrow with a high of only 55 to hit that hump day. As we move into Thursday, 59. The weekend warms back up. What do we see here? A problem. What is that problem? Christmas parades, as we see 70% chance of showers being forecasted. We'll watch this, and if you have a Christmas parade, y'all watch the weather. If there's any changes in them, please let us know so we can pass that on. Sunday, we're down to a 40% chance, and Monday, down to a 10% chance of showers. The forecast as we go all the way through December the 19th. Look at this, 50s through the 15th. As we get to the 19th, we move back again, warmer weather. Why? Rain back in the forecast, but nothing that's going to affect anything. Nighttime lows in the 40s. Those temperatures aren't low enough to cause anything like ice or snow, anything like that. So let's don't get our hopes up just yet. What's happening on the big wide world of fishing? Well, Chet's Paint and Body tells us head to the water. Let's see when that is. We should be there this morning beginning at now through 8 o'clock. You'll have another chance after dark this major. Slight chances of rain around lunchtime to go fishing. Slight west wind increasing 5 to 10 this morning. Now let's see what's happening with the hunting calendar as we see this. Here it is. First major time was going on till about 7 this morning. It started around daylight at 5. Second major time will be late. So we do have a chance there after lunch there, right after lunch. Hit it and get it. Maybe your lucky day. Brought to you by our friends over at Collinsville Meats. That's a quick look at headlines and what's going on across America. So many of you are up and stirring today. Glad to have you along. Again, we're cold. We're 35. A great day to have your car warm when you get in it. Just make sure you don't leave it running where somebody can borrow it from you. We're going to tell you all about that. The service company truck that was stolen in Newton County. We got confirmation on all that with video and pictures. We'll show you what happened to that this morning also. A lot of local stories that happen in our area that, well, you won't get anywhere else. We'll bring it to you live beginning at 7 o'clock this morning with Scotty Ray and Odie right here at the Scotty Ray Report. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.